The second step of the customer experience cycle happens when you reach the problem-solving stage. That is now the potential customer isn't just aware of you as a name, but they're now looking at you as a potential candidate to solve a specific problem. And this is where some of the earlier thinking around that whole piece around being remarkable, being that purple cow, now it comes in, because how is the potential customer going to move from awareness to having a real solid understanding that you might be the one to solve their problem for them? There needs to be something distinct about you that separates you from the other three that are almost just like you. How will they know? How will they pick that out? So having that planning piece in here is really, really important. The next piece is the transaction. So at this point, they've decided that not only from the small group of people who might be able to solve their problem, you can provide them with an automobile or a great meal, or your chiropractor and can straighten out their back, whatever it is that you're going to do. At this point is what I call is when the cash register rings, right? So this is the point of the actual sale. Here's where things get interesting in the customer experience cycle. As I said earlier at the very beginning, a Bandcamp business focuses on this moment right here, and then they stop thinking. They shut off the lights, close the doors, and head back out. We're done. We're finished, right? We've had a sale. Lovely. That's everything we've aimed for. The trouble is we're only halfway through the cycle at this point. Particularly, again, if we look at it simply from a profitability point of view, you've spent a lot of money acquiring that customer to have that first sale take place. If you walk away now, you're walking away from up to 7 times the profit on that initial investment. If you simply stop right here and that customer never came back, really, that's almost like a lost leader. You've almost brought them in for nothing. You're going to be lucky to break even. Things don't start to become profitable until you're ready to take the next step. And the single most important piece of the next step is follow through. There's a very famous story, and we'll talk, no, you know what, I'm going to save the story for a little later about Apple and the Wall Street Journal. We're going to hang on. But this one is really important. This is the piece where, whether it's an electronic newsletter, whether it's birthday cards, whether it's phone calls, whether it's bouquets of flowers, whatever it is, if it's sales flyers that you mail to their address, in some fashion, in some form, you have to do something to get a hold of that customer and get them to come back to you again. Because at that point, things get interesting. So, this is my favorite slide, because this is, anybody know what movie this is? Breakfast at Tiffany's, absolutely. So she's there after all the rats and the super rats last night, and she makes herself feel good by staring in the window at Tiffany's. And it takes care of a need for her. So the reason this is important is because everything you do in your business needs to aim towards this moment. Right from the moment your potential customers become aware you exist, till the moment that they decide that you might have something specific to solve their problem with, to the point the cash register rings, and through the follow-through process, every single one of those points on the cycle needs to be marked by one message to the potential customer. And that is, right from the beginning, that if you do business with me, it will be about more than just the sale. That message has to be embedded in everything you do, from the outbound marketing to the social marketing to the word of mouth you're generating, through the specifics of the brand shape you're creating, everything else. Somewhere in there you have to weave the message that I'm just not about the sale. We're in this for the long haul. Find a way to wrap your business and the language of your business around the concept. So you've got, someone coming back and feeling fulfilled and feeling connected, and you're building that community. What Seth Godin, again, to quote him again, calls your tribe, that particular unique group of people who value your business as much as you do because they have a relationship with it. Then what you do is you write the script. That's a very simple process. I don't know how many of you remember high school, but most of us had the same lesson in high school. That is when we were taught, I think it was English 10, where they tell you how to write essays. They say what you're going to say it, and then say what you said, right? Remember that? Incredibly simplistic. It's not how real writing works, but it's helpful. Business is exactly the same thing. When you're scripting for your clients, and I do mean scripting literally, and this is where a lot of people who are not in sales get really uncomfortable with this. Well, isn't it weird and artificial if I exactly... No, it's not. You'll embed them, you'll internalize them, you'll learn them just like, and again, because of my background, the performing arts, it's not weird for me to memorize things. Piano scores, violin scores, entire orchestral scores, they're in the head. That's normal for us, right? For business, we get all weirded out by memorizing stuff that makes it artificial. I don't know, when I watch, Anton Querty or somebody playing piano, it doesn't look very artificial to me. It looks incredibly creative, incredibly relaxed, and somehow he's taken a memorized score and turn it into a great performance. And there's no reason why we can't do that in sales and business as well. But the process is important. The process of creating a script is really important. So where that is, where I said, like I said, it's in 3 stages. One of my favorite movies is the first page of the script from Casablanca. I just brought it up there because it's just a fun slide, because it's a script. So the first step is, even in your advertising and marketing, tell your customers what you want them to think about you. And there's 2 things you want them to think about you. The one I've already touched on, and that is the concept that they are going to matter to you. Not just for the sale. It's not just you've got their $10 or their $100 or their $1 million and then that's it. Thank you very much. We're done. That's the first message that needs to be woven in. You matter. The second message that needs to be woven in is what makes you special. What is your purple cow? That piece needs to be woven in right from the beginning. So let me give you an example. It's kind of vanilla and kind of boring, but it's easy to work with. Say that your thing that you're going to get out there, your unique thing that you've embedded deep in your culture and you've explored and everything else, is that you deliver on time. Guaranteed. On-time delivery is your specialty. That's the thing that sets you apart from everybody else. So how this works in terms of scripting is 2 pieces. The first thing is, it's like an iceberg. You know, the top little bit floats above the water and the giant amount of it floats down beneath it. The little piece on top is, we deliver on time. That's your brand message. That's your market message. That's your, in the old Mad Men days, called the USP, the unique selling proposition. Nowadays, it's in social media, it's called, it has other words, but that's where it came from originally. The piece that's underneath the water, the big piece that drives that, remember I talked earlier about building that culture? It's the fact that you respect your customer's time. So the piece that's on the tip is that you deliver on time. It's about delivery. You know, we guarantee on-time delivery. The big value that drives that is that you respect people's time. And as we all know, we've been in stores where they've made us wait in long lineups or run around, fill out 3 forms. Airlines are terrible at this, incredibly disrespectful of people's time. So figure out those 2 pieces. What's the big value piece, the really, really deep one, respect for people's time? And then what's the piece that's right on the surface that everyone sees? You deliver on time. And that's the message that you script right from the beginning. You script it in your advertising at the beginning. You script it in the middle, so now you're actually, when the sale actually happens, even as you're ringing in the cash register, you script your sales staff. The moment they're taking the money, thank you very much, we guarantee to have this to you on time. That's scripted right into it. And then afterwards, when you send the follow-up messages, if you've got them on an electronic newsletter or anything else like that, you embed that message in there again. So you tell them what matters, you tell them what matters while you're doing it, and then you remind them about what matters later on during the follow-up. That second piece, or that last piece, is really important because, and we'll touch on this, we'll kind of weave one more theme into this, and that is that the reason that matters is not just to have them come back, but that message needs to be front of mind for them, because the other thing you're generating besides having them come back is to have their friends and family come back as well, because you want to build positive word of mouth. So that when they're sitting at a party or at a dinner table or in the car with somebody, says, I can't believe I was at a car dealership yesterday and I was looking at cars, they made me wait forever. What's the response going to be? Because you were recently in touch with them, you sent them an email newsletter that had it right on there, we guarantee to be respectful of your time. The response would be, well, actually, you should check out my dealership. They treated me really well. I was in and out of there in, 25 minutes, whatever. There was no sitting around. They seemed to be incredibly organized and very, very respectful of my time. You need to preload the message that you want people to say about you into their heads. That's your job. That's the scripting job. That's that really tight writing down piece. The last and final